What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder. We have a new Avengers Doomsday report to go over today that a lot of fans are really excited about. I've seen this online, and I actually think this new report makes a ton of sense on what Marvel really truly has planned for Avengers Doomsday if they are doing what I think they are doing, and it does involve Kang. We've been talking about Kang for a while now. There have been several reports about Kang, and it does seem like in some way, shape, or form, Marvel Studios is going to at least mention Kang and basically say that Doom is the person who defeated Kang. But what this really has to do with, this new report, is the multiversal war. And I love that they are actually kind of really just replacing Kang with Robert Downey Jr. and they've decided to keep most of the story, which is something that I am really excited for because it doesn't make Loki and Loki season 2 and things that have happened with that story irrelevant. They're still relevant. It does seem like everything really is still kind of keeping the same trajectory that it was with the story, and they're just bringing in Doctor Doom and continuing that story. So basically, Marvel really did just replace Kang with Doom. Now, I did like Kang. I wish he was still the villain, and I wish Doctor Doom was set up a little bit differently, but based on everything we've been hearing, I like what they're deciding to do with Doctor Doom with the ending of the multiverse saga. Now, this report is coming from Daniel RPK. Daniel RPK says that Avengers Doomsday is going to reportedly feature multiple Doctor Dooms, including female variants of Doctor Doom, which I think is very interesting, but I actually really like it. I think this will be a really cool thing to see on screen, and I think it'll really show the true multiverse, seeing a lot of different variants of Doctor Doom. And I'm wondering if all are going to be played by Robert Downey Jr. I don't think the females will be played by Robert Downey Jr., but I do think we could get some really cool cameos of Doctor Doom. We've been thinking about Tom Cruise possibly playing a superior Iron Man, but what if he shows up as a variant of Doom? What if some of these Doom variants are actually Iron Man? There's a lot that they could do here. But here's the direction that I think that they are going with Doctor Doom. And in order to understand the direction that I'm talking about, we have to look at something that Kevin Feige recently said. Basically, he says kind of what he said before, but they had already decided to move away from Kang before Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is what he said in an interview very recently, last week, with The Hollywood Reporter. He says, "We had started even before what happened to the actor occurred. We had begun to realize that Kang wasn't big enough, wasn't Thanos, and that there was only one character who could be that because he had been that in the comics for decades and decades. Because of the Fox acquisition, we finally had it, and it was Doom. We started talking about Doctor Doom even before we officially pivoted from Kang. In fact, I had begun discussing the audacious idea with Robert Downey Jr. before Ant-Man 3 even came out. It was a long plan that we had to take one of our greatest characters and utilize one of our greatest actors." So it seems like they knew they were going to pivot from Kang, and they had already been talking to Robert Downey Jr. about specifically playing Doom. And again, the Russos and Marvel seem to say that there's a big connection between there's a big connection between Iron Man and Doctor Doom and why it had to be Robert Downey Jr. to return to play this character. But the point here is they had been working on a plan for a really long time. I think what they're trying to do is connect Doom to everything that they have already set up in the multiverse saga, which is a smart move. It's really what they should do. But basically what that means is the events of Loki, you essentially are swapping out Kang for Doom or adding Doom to the story, because what we learned in Loki is that there was a giant multiversal war. And this huge multiversal war was fought, at least according to He Who Remains, between him and his own variants. Now, He Who Remains could have lied. It might not have been just between him and his variants. It could have been with the Avengers. It could have been with the X-Men. It could have been with Doctor Doom. Because if you tie that into a previous leak that we've heard about Avengers Doomsday, we have heard that Kang actually altered the sacred timeline. He got rid of the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom. He got rid of all of them and created his own timeline basically where he could do what he wanted to do. Now, if we question why he did that, it would probably have something to do with because they opposed him before and they actually were a legitimate threat to him. So the multiversal war before could have actually been fought with Doctor Doom and Kang. And I actually think that's something they're going to kind of make canon when we finally get into Avengers Doomsday. And now in Avengers Doomsday, instead of continuing with Kang fighting Kang variants like the three that we saw, Ramatut, Immortus, the Scarlet Centurion, and all of the other just thousands and possibly millions, I mean really infinite amount of Kang variants that we saw, that is all turning into Doom variants. And the multiverse is at jeopardy here. Obviously, it's at jeopardy to be destroyed. And we know that our main Doctor Doom, from what we've heard from the leaks, if they are true, he is trying to save the multiverse. He could also be trying to save it from other variants of himself. He might actually be a benevolent, a good Doctor Doom who's going throughout the multiverse trying to save it because he lost his universe, he lost his family, because he has realized that variants of other characters or just people in general are causing incursions. He could actually be good trying to stop all this while other variants of him are actually trying to dominate and rule the entire multiverse, just like Kang. With Kang, we had He Who Remains. He kind of set it up to where the sacred timeline couldn't be disturbed by anything else. So in a way, he did kind of save it in his own messed up way that he thinks is right. But then you had the other Kang variants. You had the big three Kangs who wanted to dominate and rule it and basically do whatever they wanted with it. I think we're going to see the same thing with Doom. We're going to have our main Doom who actually wants to save it, but he's also fighting other Dooms who want to rule everything, who want to be the ruler of the multiverse, which is a very Doom thing to want. Now, ultimately, our Doctor Doom is going to create Battleworld and the multiverse will be destroyed and he will rule over it because, again, that's, just Doom. But I do think he'll make a legitimate attempt to try and save it in the beginning. But now, in Avengers Doomsday, we add another layer to the multiversal war, because it seemed like for a while, the multiversal war in Doomsday was really just going to be about the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Loki and his team, all of them going up against Doom. But I like this extra layer added if this is truly what Marvel Studios is going to do, of Doom not only having to fight all of the heroes that we know and love, but also having to fight himself, really. So it really does become everybody versus Doom, including other variants of Doom. And to actually watch him beat everybody, because that's what we believe is going to happen at the end. He's going to reign supreme. He'll defeat everybody. He'll create Battleworld and he will be that ruler. To watch him defeat not only the heroes, but also other villains as well, variants of him. And then I'm sure we're going to get other villains like, Thanos and Ultron returning as well. To watch him defeat everyone, that's actually going to make him just freaking insanely cool, and honestly at the power level that he should be, especially if he has a sorcery and the tech like the 10 rings and Kamala Khan's bangles. And more than that, this Doom is going to reign supreme, and it won't be until Avengers Secret Wars where they figure out a way to actually defeat him. But I love this idea of basically swapping in Doom for Kang, because Kang is gone. I would rather have had Kang stay and we continue with that story, but it is what it is. But I do like that they're basically continuing a story with Doom. There are other variants of Doom out there who want to rule the multiverse. There's a big multiversal war. Doom is fighting other Dooms and also the Avengers and the other heroes. I really like this idea, but go ahead and let me know what you think about this idea in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.